Have we ever thought about the goodness that seems to be hidden behind the curtain of darkness? In the story of life, sometimes goodness is not always as visible as we think. This is the reality that comes to us, opening our eyes to phenomena hidden behind good appearances, behind a charming smile, often hidden despicable intentions. In the hospitality that is served, sometimes there is a confusing falsehood. Disguise is an art hidden between the layers of attitudes we carry. However, let us lift this dark curtain and sink into a deep understanding of human character. In sadness, we find strength. In uncertainty, we find wisdom. In dark goodness, we find valuable lessons. To those of you who wander in this world, be careful of the false lights that shine brilliantly. Look beyond the surface and discover the truth hidden beneath. Because only by looking deeper can we change the world into a better place. Together with MA Stoic, let's explore this journey. Don't forget to press subscribe, like, and activate notifications to get more philosophical understanding about life. In this life story, sometimes we are faced with figures who appear so good on the surface, but actually destroy peace and balance. How can we understand and identify them? Let's explore it from the perspective of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that provides guidance in facing a world full of difficulties and uncertainty. First, hidden dishonesty. These people may be adept at hiding the truth behind layers of falsehood. As Seneca said, there is no greater crime than to deceive oneself. When someone gets used to hiding the truth behind layers of falsehood, it can be a hard habit to break. This habit often develops from an inability or discomfort to face unpleasant realities. However, as Seneca's wise words reveal, such actions will ultimately only harm oneself. In everyday life, people who habitually deceive themselves may appear to be cheerful or even successful individuals. However, behind the curtain, they may feel trapped in detrimental thought patterns that are out of alignment with their true values. Hiding the truth from oneself can also have a negative impact on interpersonal relationships. When someone is not honest with themselves, they tend to find it difficult to be honest with others. This can cause tension in relationships and the lack of trust from those around him. Second, pride that hinders growth. These people often feel superior and refuse to learn from their mistakes. Epictetus warned, "Beware of pride. Trouble will never come to those who always feel right." People trapped in pride often have difficulty growing because they refuse to admit their mistakes or shortcomings. They tend to consider themselves superior to others, and are less willing to learn from the experiences or mistakes they face. This can be a major barrier on the path to personal growth and lifelong learning. Instead, it is important to humble yourself and be open to learning from every mistake and life experience. As Epictetus expressed it, pride can be an obstacle to one's development, while humility is the key to continuing to progress and develop. Third, peace-destroying jealousy. They cannot feel happy about other people's success and are constantly haunted by envy. As Epictetus said, "Let us not judge a man's happiness by what he has, but by what he feels." When a person cannot feel happy about other people's success and is constantly haunted by envy, it can be a red flag. Epictetus reminds us not to judge a person's happiness by what they have, but by what they feel. Therefore, it is important for us to be more alert to people who show signs of excessive jealousy, as it can be detrimental to our peace and well-being. Fourth, indifference that limits empathy. They are less able to feel and understand the feelings of others, so they are cut off from human ties. Albert Schweitzer said, "True virtue cannot be realized without deep sympathy." Indifference that limits empathy is not only a troubling trait in interpersonal relationships, but also a sign of deeper potential danger. Those who are less able to feel and understand the feelings of others tend to be cut off from essential human bonds. As Albert Schweitzer put it, true virtue cannot be realized without deep sympathy. When someone lacks empathy, they may appear kind on the surface, but can actually be a source of suffering and discomfort to those around them. Therefore, it is important for us to be careful of these characteristics, so that we can avoid the trap of people who pretend to be good but can actually destroy us. Fifth, egotism that prevents cooperation. These people tend to act solely in their own self-interest, without considering the consequences for others. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Life is a gift. If you want to be happy, give happiness to others." Egoism that hinders cooperation often disguises itself as good behavior, but in reality can damage relationships and trust. People who focus too much on self-interest often do not pay attention to the impact on others, which can lead to imbalance and injustice in relationships. According to Mahatma Gandhi, true happiness is found in giving to others, not just in fulfilling one's own desires. Therefore, it is important for us to be wary of selfish behavior masquerading as kindness, in order to build healthy and sustainable relationships. Sixth, manipulation that obfuscates reasonableness. They often use deception to achieve their goals, without considering integrity and honesty. As Confucius said, "A person who cannot understand the truth is not fit to hold power." Manipulation that obscures reasonableness is a characteristic often possessed by people who pretend to be good, but in reality, they use deception to achieve their goals. It is important to understand that they often do not take integrity and honesty into account in their processes. As Confucius put it, "People who cannot understand the truth are not fit to hold power." Therefore, we need to be alert to the signs of this kind of manipulation, so that we don't get caught in a detrimental game. An example of manipulation that obscures fairness is when someone consistently gives false praise to attract attention or gain advantage over others, without considering the long-term effects. For example, someone who constantly praises your work but actually has an ulterior motive to take advantage of your hard work or take advantage of the situation. This is manipulation that obscures fairness, because praise given should be based on honesty and sincere appreciation, not ulterior motives. Seventh, ungratefulness that eliminates happiness. They are never satisfied with what they have and constantly long for more, without realizing the blessings they have been given. Said Marcus Aurelius, "When you wake up in the morning, think about what is valuable to you: life, family, your own existence." In recognizing the characteristics of people who pretend to be good, but are actually destroying us, it is important to understand how ingratitude can damage happiness. People like this often never have enough of what they have, always longing for more without realizing the blessings they have been given. For example, you have a friend who constantly feels dissatisfied with his job, even though he has a fairly high salary and a pleasant work environment. He always complains about insignificant shortcomings and constantly longs for a better job, without ever being grateful for what he has achieved. Or, someone who always wishes they had a bigger house, a fancier car, and more expensive things, without ever paying attention to the happiness that can be gained from deeper relationships with their family and friends. In dealing with people like this, it is important to remain vigilant and realize that their ingratitude can poison our relationship with them. Don't let ourselves get caught in a never-ending circle of dissatisfaction, and remember to always be grateful for what we have. Eighth, unfulfillment that destroys peace. They are trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction and constantly seek satisfaction outside themselves. As Buddha said, when we reflect on our own magnanimity, the world around us begins to change. A person caught in a cycle of dissatisfaction often places the burden of seeking satisfaction on things outside their control, such as material achievement, social status, or recognition from others. They forget that true satisfaction comes from within, not from external factors. However, when someone continually seeks satisfaction outside themselves, They not only destroy their own inner harmony, but may also have a negative impact on relationships with others. For example, someone who always feels like they are not rich enough, even though they already have a lot of wealth, may become dissatisfied with what they have and constantly pursue greater wealth. As a result, they may neglect important social and emotional relationships in their lives, or even harm others in their efforts to achieve their financial goals. Likewise, a person who constantly seeks approval from others to strengthen their sense of self-worth may become obsessed with other people's perceptions of them. They may become manipulative or dishonest in an attempt to gain approval, and ultimately, they damage their relationships with others and damage their own self-image. By realizing the dangers of this cycle of dissatisfaction, it is important for us to build internal satisfaction and learn to appreciate what we have now, as well as develop healthy relationships with ourselves and others. In living this life, it is important for us to recognize the characteristics of people who pretend to be good but are actually destructive, so that we can protect ourselves and achieve inner peace. By understanding the teachings of Stoicism and wisdom from great world figures, we can move forward with unshakable confidence and calm.